Hello and welcome back to UK NBA episode 12 part 3. By now you know who we are. I'm Ryan Hillback.
And I'm Peter Wells.
Yes, this is a continuation of the players that could leave their franchises at the end of the season. We've been talking in the first part about where certain players can go and the contracts that they've been on. We're carrying on that now. And we're looking at Marc Gasol and Jeff Green. We'll do those two together.
Marc Gasol, obviously, he's going to want a big contract. I think a max contract is likely.
But they've got enough cap space to offer them that,
enough space, so I should think that he would be kept. The fact they're having such a good season, I think there's no need to tinker that too much. You can get a few players in possibly. Jeff Green's a player option.
He's a very good player, isn't he?
Very good player. I like Jeff Green a lot, and I think he's going to enjoy playing with the Grizzlies at championship level. And much like guys we've mentioned before, like Brooks, like J.R. Smith, they're going to want to stay in their team because they're potentially
obviously with the Grizzlies tying at the moment, still with the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
In second place in the conference. Do you know what I always get confused about? Like which conference is which? Is it the East is Grizzlies? Is it?
No, East is West is Grizzlies. Yeah.
West is Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I get confused. Yeah. I'm thinking, well, who's West and who's East?
Or Central team as well. Grizzlies.
But they could play in either conference, couldn't they?
They're playing Eastern style. That's one thing about them.
Okay, so we both think that Green and Gasol will stay.
Yeah.
Moving on to your team now, you've got a few players that. Got a few players that are on player options. Dwayne Wade, Deng, Granger, and Whiteside.
Yeah, Whiteside completely runs out of contract, which he needs to be tied up straight away because I think there's 30 teams that want him in the league right now. Everybody wants him.
I mean, I'd take him at the Cavaliers.
He's absolutely outstanding player.
And the longer it goes on, the longer Whiteside will be thinking, am I really a valued member? Yeah. If the powers that be aren't coming to him and saying, please stay, here's a contract.
Yeah.
The more time that goes on, the more you think the Whiteside won't be a Heat player by the start of the 15-16 season.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. I think if Danny Granger was a team option, I'm not sure the Heat would re-sign him. Player option, he'll probably re-sign for the money he's on. Luol Deng could be an interesting one, but he seems to enjoy it. I think he likes the style of basketball at Miami, and I don't think he wants to go back on the circus road.
And Dwayne Wade basically is Miami.
He is Miami. He'll stay.
He'll definitely stay. Okie dokie. Looking at the Timberwolves, Thaddeus Younger's on a player option, and JJ Barea also. I think they could offload. Barea's on a player option, is he not?
No, Barea's out of contract.
Right, so Barea's not on a player option. I think he's out. I don't think the Timberwolves will re-sign Barea, and I think Thaddeus Younger will extend the player option.
I think Barea is in a position. Obviously, got Mo Williams. I think they'll be keeping him. They've also got Ricky Rubio at point guard. So I'm not sure. It depends again on the offer they can give him, the money they can give him, and that he'll accept.
Do they really need him, to be honest? Like you say, they've got Mo Williams. Do they really need Barea? And it's all about bringing down that cap space as well, because we mentioned earlier about the Timberwolves being one of those sides that are up and coming. They've got a lot of draft picks. They'll have money to play with, and will they want to keep players like Barea? Not for me. I think they'll offload him. Okay, so we're looking at the Pelicans now. We're going to be focusing on Eric Gordon and Amar Asik. So firstly with Eric Gordon, he's got a player option, but he may need to take a pay cut to guarantee himself that multi-year contract he so desperately craves.
It's an injury problem. He just gets injured all the time. Every single.
That's the problem, isn't it? I think he spends more time off the court than he does on it.
So again, he's one of them where he's going to have to play. I think he's on to like 15 million.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Really.
Obviously,
there's such a mega disparity, isn't there, with basketball's wages?
Obviously, the one thing about player option, player can do as well. They can opt out and then re-sign on a lower contract. Which, if Gordon wants a multi-year contract, he's going to have to do that. If he's not bothered, if he just wants the money for this season, then he'll carry on with his player option.
Something tells me he'll choose the latter.
Yeah, and then he'll be opted out to free agency unless.
What would you reckon? Would you make of Amar Asik situation?
I think they should keep him. They should try and keep him. A very good centre, produces a lot of rebounds. I think he's a perfect fit right there with Anthony Davis, and I think he's enjoying playing there again after all that happened with Houston, where he was suddenly a reserve rather than a starter because of Dwight Howard. I think he enjoys it there, and I think you've got a team here that could make playoffs. So I think
yeah, especially after beating the Hawks, I saw a lot of quality in that team.
They're a very good team, liking them at the moment.
Here's some eye-watering numbers for you. It makes you wonder why the New York Knicks are so bad when they can afford to play players these sorts of contracts. Stoudemire, who's on a staggering $23.4 million. How on earth is he a $23.4 million player? $1 million player, sorry. Okay, he's good, but he ain't that good.
No,
and then you got Bargani. I always get that wrong.
No,
he's on 12 million, which is stupid as well. And don't forget that the Knicks are only guaranteed 5 professional contracts, including Carmelo Anthony and Jose Calderon, Kendrick Perkins, and Collison.
No, I think about Stoudemire. I think he will take a pay cut. He's got to take a pay cut. He ain't going to get that.
He ain't going to get that. He's living in fantasy land, isn't he?
He's going to take a massive pay cut. Obviously, this is a long-term contract. When the Knicks first signed him, they gave him obviously a 5-year, basically max deal. And now it's come to the end of it. Everybody's thinking, well, how is he still out money?
Oh no, I can't believe it. He's not done nowhere near enough to earn that kind of money. He's got the Knicks out of situations over those 5 years, admittedly. And without him, they'd probably be a worse franchise than they are now. But $23.4 million is just staggering. So let's have a little chat about Bargini. Reckon they'll keep him?
No, not a chance. Not on 12 million. I think he's hardly been in the team this season. He's been injured. And when he was in the team last season, he was terrible. So I don't think there's any chance they'll keep him for that money.
Okay then. So we've dealt with that. We've got a few more coming up.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins and Nick Collison are both out of contracts at OKC.
Sorry, I mentioned them as Knicks players. Apologies for that. They're both out of contract as OKC players. Kendrick Perkins and Nick Collison. Which of those two do you think will stay?
I've just got to point this out as well. I did see this the other day. Apparently, I think that Nick Collison signed a 2-year extension.
Right. Okay.
For $8 million, so $4 million a year.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Which posed a few funny quotes. I think it was an ex-journalist or a current journalist who was sacked by somebody, put out somebody who gets 4 points and 3 rebounds a game, earning $8 million. No wonder they're not going to make the playoffs. And Kevin Durant replied by saying that's something coming from somebody who got sacked for being a dumbass. So take a few shots there, obviously sticking up for his teammates.
That's 1-0 Durant, isn't it? That?
Yeah, obviously Durant's always going to stick for his teammates.
Well, you've got him, haven't you?
And Nick Collison's been at OKC. He was at the Seattle, not Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, that's American football.
Supersonics, yeah. Before the franchise started in Oklahoma City with the Thunder. He's basically Oklahoma. He's like Udonis Haslem is to the Miami Heat. You just keep him because he is that man. And he's well respected, probably going to end up working in the coaching staff eventually with OKC. And I think he deserves that contract for all his contributions throughout his career. Okay,
have you got any more on your free agent list?
We have
indeed. The Sixers, they're only guaranteed to pay $14.5 million.
Yep, so that's a lot of money. So that's about 50 million about they've got spare. Obviously, they might want to re-sign some players that they've already got.
They need to. They've gone bad again.
Yeah, but you look at it, they've got MCW, Michael Carter-Williams, they've got Joel Embiid,
they've got
Noel, all on Robert Covington, all on rookie contracts. You're in the dreamland right now.
They've got and don't forget those draft picks that they've got coming up.
Yeah, they've got some draft picks as well coming up, and there's a few players on this board that we've gone through. They're going to be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Would one of them be Dragic if he left the Suns?
Oh, that could be an interesting one because there's a lot of talk about Dragic, whether he's going to leave, whether he's not going to leave.
He's on a player contract.
Yeah, he's on a player contract. So will he take it because he's a starter? He's up there with Bledsoe as the star of that team. I'm not sure if Suns could do without him, but they do have the players around that position that can soften the blow, like Gerald Green, who's also
and Brandon Wright as well, who's also out of contract.
I'd keep him. 100% keep.
I'd keep all three.
Yeah, I think they've got it going at the moment. They're a fantastic franchise right now.
Yeah, you've got players in there like Wright, Dragic, Green, Thomas. You've got a foundation of a good franchise. They're flirting with the playoffs. I think they're just in it at the moment.
Yeah, just in the moment, and at the moment they're not looking at dropping out.
No, I think they'll stay in. Quickly run through the Blazers because I'm conscious of the fact that we've got a couple more feature parts to come up.
But this one's a big one.
But this one's a massive one. LaMarcus Aldridge rumours linking him with the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and obviously he'll be looking for a max contract. Now, this makes things interesting later on with Tim Duncan, who is currently out of contract at the Spurs at the end of the season. So LaMarcus Aldridge, if they're really seriously scouting him, that's a massive pickup for the Spurs.
Yeah, obviously he's got to have surgery, has he, at the end of the season on that thumb. But I wouldn't imagine that'll keep him out for too long. Yeah. But certainly LaMarcus Aldridge, fantastic player.
But obviously they're going to have to pay a lot of money because they're going to have to pay big money for Aldridge. They've got Wesley Matthews and Robin Lopez, who are both out of contract, and both of them are going to be expecting big contracts.
And Steve Blake as well, who's got his player option.
So, but the good thing is the Blazers have a lot of money to play with at the moment. And
with the fact that where they are in the league in terms of going up there for the championship, they've got a reason to convince players to join them as well.
I wouldn't say they want to move many places, but I'm sure there's a lot of teams going to be looking at them players and potentially luring them out. But Blazers have got the money and they've got the stability of being a playoff franchise to really keep those players. But LaMarcus Aldridge max contract is a must.
Yeah, you just mentioned Tim Duncan, absolute legend at the San Antonio Spurs. We've just mentioned about the fact whether he'll get a new contract if the rumours prove to be true regarding LaMarcus Aldridge. I would doubt if he would because I can't see those two players being in the same team.
No, it's an interesting one because then obviously one of them's got to play on the bench and neither of them want to do that. So Tim Duncan, still an all-star, still a terrific player. I'm sure if Spurs didn't get LaMarcus, they would be okay with Tim Duncan. But I'm certainly, if they're looking to the future, and LaMarcus Aldridge is somebody they've got to take seriously about getting. But at the moment, it'll leave a tough decision for the whole franchise of what they're going to do then with Tim Duncan running a contract. Will Tim Duncan retire if they win a championship this year?
Possibly. Staying with the Spurs, with Ginobili, Green, Bellinelli, and 5 others are all on looking like they could be on the way out.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of players there, so again, there'll probably be a lot of money for the likes of a LaMarcus Aldridge coming in. I think a lot of them they'll keep. Danny Green's a definite they'll keep.
Could keep Ginobili as well. When I've seen him, he's always looked
good,
decent. Yeah. Moving on to the Raptors, Amir Johnson and Lou Williams. Tell me your thoughts about those two.
I think they both have to keep them. Again, they're going to want to stay because they're in a franchise that's potentially going to be a championship winning franchise with the right investments in other positions, especially such the big positions to help out with Amir Johnson and Jonas Valanciunas. Lou Williams is terrific off the bench. Definitely at the moment in the running for 6th man of the year. And I think both of them will want some good money, but I think they'll stay.
Yeah, I agree. And the Wizards, Paul Pierce is on his player option. Andre Miller, Russell Butler, and Kevin Sarafin as well. And can they make this surprising and possibly would have to be one of the biggest coups in NBA history? Yeah. Will they be able to lure Kevin Durant to the Washington Wizards?
Yep, that's going to be a big interest there. Obviously, there was a lot of banners up when Kevin Durant come into Washington to play of KD for 2016 come back home. He's obviously a Washington native. So there's a good potential. See what happens with Kevin Durant, but I wouldn't bank on him coming.
No, because we'll see. It would certainly be one of the biggest coups.
He's got a great relationship with Russell Westbrook and the rest of his teammates.
He's got a great relationship with Scott Brooks as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to lure him out. But Wizards are on the way through a championship.
And another question concerning the Millers. No, it actually is concerning the Millers. Will Andre Miller take the veteran's salary cut, which will reduce his salary by $3 million? No, of course it won't. By $3 million? No way. I wouldn't do it.
Again, it's a question.
Let me just put this into context. Say, hopefully, one day you'll be flying off to America to do your sports reporting, and your salary, let's just say for argument's sake, is $150,000 a year.
Yeah,
nice salary. Yeah. Mr. Editor comes along to you and says, Peter, you're great. I like you. You've been doing some good work for this newspaper. And but mate, I'm gonna have to cut your salary down to $95,000. You would be on the first train out of that place.
But I think different jobs, different scenarios, different amounts of money. Miller's earned a lot of money out of his career. Obviously, veteran salary. 10 years in the league, I think it is, and he can earn so much money, which cuts his by $3 million. Now, if he's thinking about it, Paul Pierce is going to re-sign. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a potential of Kevin Durant coming in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't want to be on that franchise with Paul Pierce, John Wall, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant?
In sport, that does the talking.
I think he will take the cut for veterans.
Okay, I'm going to say he won't take the cut. He's going to say you will take the cut.
He wants championships and he won't want to leave to another team.
Okay, what I want to know is, have we missed off any players that are coming to the end of their contracts and you think could be on their way? Stick that in the comments below. Coming up next, what we're talking about on part 4.
We will be talking about, it was supposed to be question time.
Yeah, it was supposed to be question time, but it no longer is. What we will be doing instead is we'll be chatting through some of the comments that we've had on our videos so far.
But I do believe the next section is all about something. It's completely gone from here.
Yeah, we don't actually know at the moment in time. This section...
It is about Andrew Wiggins.
It's about Andrew... yes, sorry, my memory now comes back to me. It's about did the Cavaliers make the right choice in taking Kevin Love?
Yeah.
It's all coming up next on UK NBA. Stay right here for all the latest basketball news.